Hello, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. I'm that Pepsi guy, aka Chulo Lee Kryptonite, and this is part 3 of the beginner's guide to earning money in Splinterlands. So, before we get into this, as always, be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content and if you like the video. If you've got a specific strategy you'd like to discuss, please be sure to put that in the comments below. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the guide. So I would say that when we look at how to earn money in Splinterlands, there's really it. Splinterlands itself is a very robust and mini economic system within the game. So I really want to break down how to earn actual fiat currency in Splinterlands, and there's really three key areas that you can do this. The first is through working. The second is through the in-game assets, and then the third category is through in-game capital. So I want to kind of just go through each of those and show everybody how they can actually start earning some actual fiat currency. So to start off with working, this one is pretty simple. I use the terminology working because it's something that you're actively trading your time for in exchange for money. No different than any job that you may go into every day. If you're trading your time and energy for something and you're rewarded with money as a return, that's some type of work. And that's really simple in this game. That is actually the act of playing the game. So now for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to go through and complete battles in detail, but as you can see from the replay of this battle that I won here, skip to results, for this particular battle here, I earned 6 dark energy crystals. And that was with a win streak, so some additional points scored for gold cards, and then also a small credit for the guild. So this is the dark energy, and this particular crypto token here can be openly and freely traded on the market. PancakeSwap is a great location to do any sort of trading. But this is the actual currency that you will receive and earn for winning matches in the game. So I do want to caveat that. You must win in order to be compensated for your battle. As you can see here where I've lost, I did not receive any dark energy, although the winner here obviously did. So, very simple way to earn a small amount of coin is simply playing the game, hopping into the battles, completing your ranked battles every day. It's not going to be a retirement amount by any means, but you will in fact earn money for playing the game and investing your time in the game here. So that's kind of the simplest and easiest one. The second area that we have that we can earn and grow money is around assets. So in the play to earn model, effectively everything that you purchase in this game is actually your asset, with a small exclusion here on the actual potions. I do not believe that you can resell potions on the open market. But potions aside, literally everything else can be sold on the open market. So there's a few different ways to generate and earn income in regards to your assets. I'll start with the easiest and most obvious, and that is flipping. So just like those TV shows around flipping homes, you can very much accomplish the exact same objective here in Splinterlands through flipping. Flipping of both cards. So as you can see, there's an open market here for all the cards that are in the game and for sale. All of these cards where you see this card here is 6 cents. This is for sale from a user to another user. This is not a sale coming from the game developers or anything of the sort. So I've got this sorted low to high here, so there's obviously some very cheap cards here, but there's also some very expensive cards out there as well. especially if we throw in the gold foil. Highest price now is just shy of $1 million. Now I doubt that card's going to sell at $1 million, but there are some definitive high value cards here in this game, and they do actually make trades and exchanges. So this is one of the assets. If you're going to look at flipping assets, there's a simple way that I look at these cards, and I'll just do it here on some of the Chaos Legion because that is still relatively new. Um, one thing that you can do on card flipping is you kind of go through here and look through cards, and you're looking for somewhere that you can buy a card at a lower price and then sell it for a higher price. That is what flipping is. And there's a caveat to this, and that is when you attempt to sell a card, the game will actually charge you a 5% fee. So minimally, you need to achieve at least a 10% gain, or minimally 5% to break even. But you'd want to target at least a 10% gain in order to actually retain 5% profit on your initial investment. So now, as an example here, this is actually a really good one. This is obviously not a lot of money here, but we have 3 cards here that are priced at 10 cents each. And then the next major price point on this particular card moves up to 11 cents each, and there's tons and tons of cards here at 11. So this is actually a really good example of an opportunity to make a small amount of profit. And that is very simply, even though this is only 1 penny difference, this is still 10%. This is still a 10% increase in value. So to demonstrate it for the video here, I will go ahead and pick up these 3 cards at 10 cents each. All right, now that that is completed, we see that we've got those 3 cards that we just purchased, as well as looks like I had 3 more on hand. So I bought those cards at 10 cents a piece. The next lowest price is 11 cents. That's 10% more. So again, not going to make a ton of money here, but it is a 10% increase. So then you would immediately go ahead and place these exact same cards for sale on the market again. Go through all of our confirmations. And last one. So again, these things will actually probably sell pretty quickly here, and oh, somebody actually undercut me a little bit. So you always want to make sure your prices, because it only shows 2 decimals here. But nonetheless, I've still got some of the cheapest cards on the market here, so I do expect those to sell pretty quickly. So again, for purposes of this video, I just simply chose the cheapest card on the market, but you can certainly make more money by actually utilizing some of the higher value cards. So kind of showing an example of that here. Back on the 17th at 1 o'clock, I sold 2 Shadow Snitch gold foil cards for $2.48 each. And as you can see here, going down to the 17th at 9:30 that morning, I purchased these same 2 cards for $2.34 and $2.35 each. So 12 cents off of those cards each. No extra effort beyond clicking the button of buy and then sell. And again, you can see these opportunities throughout any price point, whether your budget is 5 cents a card or even getting into the higher value cards. Those opportunities do exist and are there. I'm going to check here. Actually, There was a Dr. Blight card here yesterday, and it was for sale for $1,000. And as you can see, the next cheapest one is $1,500. So that was actually a really good opportunity to pick up 500 bucks very quickly off that one purchase. Now, more than likely, this Dr. Blight card is not going to move as quickly as a 10-cent card. So you're always going to want to balance out your risk in terms of how long do you think it's going to take to sell the card versus how much effort does it take to purchase and resell. Obviously that those 6-cent cards doesn't justify the time and using that as a investment strategy, but the logic and the concept that I've shown here is valid at any price point. And that's really kind of the flipping component of it. The other area to look at these assets and cards is in terms of asset appreciation. So as you can see here, we also have the opportunity to do sales and rentals. So the rental card market is based on very similar to the home rental market. We have people that have invested capital to purchase one of these cards, and those cards tend to increase in value over time. Even at the time of this video, with the crypto markets somewhat in a free fall, most of these cards, especially from the original decks, not necessarily the Chaos Legion, but the old cards, have retained their value really, really well. And in fact, some of the stronger cards out there, such as the Sacred Llama Mage, in August, not even the gold foil, I'm going to go to the regular. In August of 2021, the lowest price was about $50 to $60 for one of these Sacred Llama Mage cards. And now you can see the absolute cheapest is $550. Now, I know that there was also, this card probably also peaked around $800. So there's always going to be the component of you have to buy your dips and not sell on peaks in order to be profitable. But again, if your intention is to buy assets and hold them and generate passive income through rentals, those small peaks that happen over short periods of time frame, they get washed out with what's happening in regards to the overall economic situation of the cards or the game that you're in. So that's kind of the second component of assets, is simply just holding them to retain value and gain value over time as demand for the cards, demand for the game increases. Those values of the cards also do increase, and they've increased somewhat exponentially here over the past few months. Now, we talked about the obvious assets of cards. There is another asset that I do want to show here, and that is some of these other assets. Now, we don't have a lot of other assets at this point in time in the game, but this is one area right here, and that is the land plots. I do consider this actually a very strong investment at this point in time. Land plots at the time of this video are running about $550 per land plot. Land plots are going to be necessary to create new cards in a future release of the game. And the only way those cards can be generated is through plots of land. These land plots today have zero effective use. So I do believe that when these plots now become integrated into the actual game itself, the price is going to skyrocket on those. So I have one of these so far. I will probably add more of these as we ramp up towards the land plots being actually useful in game. But this is another area that I'm definitely keeping my eye on here, is some of these other assets that exist outside of the actual just cards that you utilize to play. So we've went through working to earn money in the game. We've went through investing and purchasing assets, whether it's buy and hold or flipping for immediate sale. The last area that you can earn money is through making your capital work for you in the game. So in game, there are 3 currencies in this game, 2 of which here, the Dark Energy Crystals and the SPS, are actually cryptocurrency tokens that can be traded freely on the open market. The credits are not. So when you buy a credit, it has no effective use outside of the game. So I don't propose buying tons and tons of credits because if you want to switch something from, say, dark energy to SPS, or even move to a different crypto asset altogether, you cannot do that if you've put all of your cryptocurrency into credits. Once they're in credits, you actually have to purchase something with the credits, sell that in order to get any sort of dark energy or SPS back that you can trade freely. So that's the two types of currency. So I'll go through the probably the more simplistic one first, and that is SPS. So that is Splinter Shards. That is the game's kind of underlying currency. So there's a couple things you can do with, well, there's one thing you can do with Splinter Shards, but it pays you out in a couple ways. The first is your traditional staking. So if you've done any sort of staking on other platforms in the cryptocurrency environment, that is a replacement for mining. It's an energy replacement for mining that is used to confirm the cryptocurrency transactions. So just like staking on external platforms, whether it's Binance, Coinbase, PancakeSwap, whatever, you can stake SPS in game, and you'll be rewarded at a APR rate of what's currently 41.26% for the APR. Now this number changes based on the total amount of staked SPS. So as this number goes down, meaning less people or less SPS is staked, the APR goes up. When I actually first started staking APR about 6 months ago, it was at about 80% before the recent huge growth in the game. So that's one area there is just staking your SPS and getting the APR off of it. Now your SPS and your APR are always going to be subject to market price. So you're not necessarily going to make a direct 41% per year unless the market price stays at 24 cents per SPS coin. Now that's one area here, and I actually have some SPS to claim from my staking. So I'll go ahead and claim that. And one other point on staking here before we move off of the screen, and that is, as with most cryptos, they're looking for ways to discourage emotional decision making. So one of the things that they've implemented here in Splinterlands is when you decide to unstake, it will take 25% of your balance and unstake that each week for 4 weeks. So as you can see here, I've got a staking that is going to be released tomorrow. I've decided to change directions a little bit on my investment strategy here. So I'm unstaking, but it does take you about a month or so to unstake. So if you do decide to stake, understand that your money is going to be tied up for 4 weeks to get 100% of it back. And during that 4-week time frame, any number of things could happen to this number here, which will impact this. So that is kind of what the risk is associated with these higher APRs. The other benefit to staking is in the form of vouchers. So vouchers were just most recently released as a part of the Chaos Legion pre-sale, and you earn vouchers by having your SPS staked. So in addition to receiving your SPS APR rewards, you're also receiving a portion of a voucher based on your percentage of SPS out of the total staked SPS. So right now I currently have 4,465 SPS staked. That translates into 1.447 vouchers that I receive on a daily basis. Now these vouchers have uses that in order to purchase a Chaos Legion pack, you must use one voucher and buy the pack for 4,000 credits. You can have the credits, but if you don't have vouchers, you're not getting a pack. So they implemented this with the most recent release of the Chaos Legion, but the developers are intending to use vouchers and other mechanisms in the future as well. So you could use these vouchers to buy packs. You could sell these vouchers on the open market. During the first phase of pre-order, vouchers were worth about $15 to $17 each. They were much more limited than the supply is today. And there was actually a very lucrative potential airdrop reward in the first phase. Voucher production has doubled temporarily. It will revert back to previous levels, but we're currently in a doubling voucher distribution phase. So it's an opportunity to get twice as many vouchers with what I believe to be a short-term price impact. Vouchers today are going for about $2.50 to $3 each. I do expect that number to go back up again as the supply is diminished. So that is how the SPS functions. So you get your SPS percentage of APR rewards right here for staking your SPS, and then also your voucher kickbacks as well. That can be used for other functions within the game. The other area, and this is probably my personal favorite, even with some of the declines in the market, is when it comes to the dark energy holding capital. So in addition to the SPS rewards that you get from staking over here on this side, this is a function of your dark energy that you have in your wallet, in game, whatever the assets that you carry in dark energy. So the dark energy provides an airdrop. Now the airdrop is paid out in SPS every day, but you get a airdrop of SPS based on your dark energy holdings, and a few other components as well. But the biggest factor here is your dark energy. So in looking at my airdrop here, I've received 5.3 SPS, and this comes every 24 hours in the morning. I've received 5.3 SPS, and that is based on having a 18,000 true collection power, meaning that's the cards that I own, not what I have under rentals. 19,000 points earned for each dark energy crystal, and that's basically a one-to-one relationship there. And then 10,000 for each land plot, for a total of 47,407 airdrop points. Now, that number isn't dramatically meaningful, but it does contribute to how large of a number this can be. The biggest and most important variable here in terms of your airdrops is how much dark energy you have. So dark energy is a one-to-one. And if you have, I've been watching this very closely, and what I find is that after you convert or your SPS rewards to dark energy to compound this number here, you earn about 0.5% in airdrop every single day. Now again, that 0.5% is in-game currency and subject to external market prices. But purely looking at the in-game currency, you're receiving 0.5% every single day from having dark energy in your bags, whether it's your in-game bag or in one of your various cryptocurrency wallets. Wherever you've got your dark energy, as long as it's connected, you will receive SPS for holding your dark energy. There are some other mechanisms here that you can use to generate additional income with your dark energy. As an example, you could actually contribute to a dark energy pool, which would effectively double the amount of points that you would receive here, because you've got to double the amount of capital required to put into the pool. I'm not going to go into great detail about how liquidity pools work, but if you do decide to, you could in fact take your dark energy, place it into a liquidity pool, earn your SPS airdrops here, along with earning your rewards for providing the liquidity on the liquidity pool. So there's places that you can actually double dip on your earnings as well with your dark energy. So that really wraps up the main mechanisms for earning money in Splinterlands. Have I missed any strategies that you guys use? Place those in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video and channel for more Splinterlands play to earn content. Thanks everybody, and have a great day.